In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule by Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential philosophers, had a deep understanding of human behavior, both on an individual level and within larger groups like societies, nations, and historical periods. One of his most thought-provoking quotes, "In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule," speaks directly to the dangers of collective thinking and the often irrational, even destructive, tendencies that arise when people band together. At its core, Nietzsche's observation suggests that, while individual people tend to behave in a mostly rational and reasonable manner, things change dramatically when those same individuals become part of larger groups. Group dynamics can lead to behavior that no single person would normally engage in on their own. This is why mob mentality exists. When surrounded by others acting in a certain way, people can be swept up in the behavior of the crowd, even if that behavior is destructive or irrational. On an individual level, people generally make decisions based on their personal beliefs, experiences, and understanding of the world. Each of us, in isolation, weighs consequences, thinks critically, and acts according to our moral compass. While this does not mean that individuals never make mistakes or irrational choices, Nietzsche suggests that outright insanity, meaning extreme, unreasonable, or harmful behavior, is uncommon in individuals acting alone. However, the moment individuals become part of a group, something changes. In groups, people often feel less responsible for their actions. This diffusion of responsibility can lead to situations where people do things they would never do if they were by themselves. This is why mob mentality exists. When surrounded by others acting in a certain way, people can be swept up in the behavior of the crowd, even if that behavior is destructive or irrational. History is filled with examples of group insanity. Wars, genocides, revolutions, and political movements often show how easily large groups can be led to act in ways that seem insane, when viewed from an individual perspective. Political parties, social movements, and entire nations have fallen prey to extreme ideologies, often resulting in violence and suffering. For example, consider Nazi Germany. Most people would never dream of committing atrocities like those that occurred during World War II. Yet, as a collective, under the influence of a powerful leader and an extreme ideology, ordinary individuals became part of a system that led to one of the darkest chapters in human history. This is what Nietzsche refers to when he says that insanity is the rule in groups. Once people stop thinking for themselves and start thinking as a group, terrible things can happen. This is not just about violence. Even in more peaceful settings, groupthink can lead to irrational decisions. Businesses, governments, and organizations often make decisions that, when looked at closely, do not seem to make sense. This happens because individuals within these groups often go along with the majority, even when they privately disagree. Nietzsche also refers to epochs or historical periods when he talks about the rule of insanity in groups. There have been entire eras in history where irrational behavior became widespread and accepted as normal. Consider the witch hunts of the Middle Ages, when entire communities became convinced that certain people were witches and needed to be executed. This madness lasted for centuries and was accepted as completely rational by the societies of that time. Today, we look back and wonder how so many people could believe in something so ridiculous. But this is exactly what Nietzsche is warning us about. The collective madness of an era can seem completely normal to those living in it, but appear insane when viewed from the outside or with the passage of time. In today's world, Nietzsche's words are more relevant than ever. Social media platforms, where millions of people come together to share ideas, have become breeding grounds for collective insanity. Online, people are often more aggressive, less empathetic, and more likely to engage in behavior they would never consider in face-to-face interactions. On social media, ideas spread rapidly, and echo chambers form where groups of people only hear opinions that reinforce their own. This can lead to the amplification of extreme views, false information, and hate speech. The collective insanity Nietzsche warned about is now more accessible and widespread than ever before. People are quick to join movements, causes, or trends without fully thinking through the consequences or questioning the validity of the ideas they are supporting. Nietzsche's observation serves as both a warning and a challenge. If insanity is the rule in groups, how can individuals avoid falling into this trap? The key is critical thinking and maintaining a strong sense of individual responsibility. First, it is important to question everything, especially when part of a group. Just because everyone else is doing something or believing something does not mean that it is right or rational. It is essential to maintain a sense of independence and not get swept up in collective thinking. Second, individuals should always be aware of their own values and beliefs. When people become part of a group, they often sacrifice their own values for the sake of fitting in. This can lead to feelings of regret and guilt later on, especially if the group engages in harmful behavior. Finally, people should remember that it is okay to stand alone. In a world where groupthink and collective insanity can dominate, those who think for themselves are often the ones who make the most positive impact. Standing up against the madness of the crowd can be difficult, but it is often necessary. Friedrich Nietzsche's statement, "In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule," offers a profound insight into human nature. It highlights the dangers of groupthink and collective behavior, reminding us that while individuals can act rationally, groups often lead to irrational and even destructive behavior. In today's world, where social media and global communication have made it easier than ever to become part of a group, Nietzsche's warning is more important than ever. By thinking critically, maintaining personal responsibility, and being willing to stand alone, individuals can resist the madness that often takes hold in larger groups. If you found this discussion insightful, do not forget to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel for more content on philosophy and human behavior. Thank you for watching.